Trade fixtures are really simple, but part of the reason why you might be confused is maybe no one explained to you what the heck it means. A fixture is something that was personal property, but because of the way that it was attached to the real estate, it becomes a fixture. Think of a bookshelf that is freestanding, that's personal property. When it's attached to the wall in such a way that it's built in, it has molding around it, it's glued to the wall, it's nailed to the wall, it has caulk and all the good things that make it a built-in, it's now a fixture. And where this comes into play is when you're selling a property, a fixture stays unless we put it as an exclusion on the agreement of sale. It also comes into play in leases. If you rent an apartment from your landlord and you built in a bookshelf, it's now attached, it's a fixture, and that has to stay when you leave. And that makes sense because, first of all, you might not have even been allowed to add the bookshelf and make it a fixture. But if you did it, it's now part of the real estate and you can't rip it out because it's a fixture. But when we talk about commercial leases, there's a special category because it's a commercial lease, it's a business. So in a commercial lease, a trade fixture is a fixture, something that is now attached or fixed to the property, so it becomes a fixture. But in order to be called a trade fixture, it has to be something to do with the person's business or their trade. So think of a pizza shop owner. A pizza shop owner rents a space for their pizza shop and they need a pizza oven. So they bring an oven on site and it maybe has to be bolted to the floor because it's real big and it's heavy and it has to be attached to the wall. Because it's attached to the floor and the wall, it would be considered a fixture, which would mean it would stay with the property. But in this case, this fixture is a pizza oven for a pizza shop. It's part of their freaking trade. So they can't leave the pizza oven there when the lease is over because that's their business. So they take it with them. And that is the special category of fixture called a trade fixture. And so it only happens in commercial leases because it only applies to trades, to businesses, and businesses don't happen in residential leases. So if I rented a space for a bookstore and I built in bookshelves all over the place, even though they would be attached to the property, they would be part of my trade and I would take them with me. Two caveats to think about. The first one is everything is always best if it's in writing so that the landlord and the tenant agree upon stuff before it happens and there's confusion. And the other thing is that, let's go back to the pizza shop example. If the pizza shop owner puts in a pizza oven, but it's this special custom-made oven that comes from Italy and it's shipped over in parts, and in order to install it they have to have craftsmen flown in and they have to dig a hole in the floor and pour a concrete foundation and attach it to the structure and the steel beams, and it's now really integrated and part of the building. Removing it might cause some sort of structural damage, and so in this case it's probably going to stay, which is why we always go back to making sure that the landlord and the tenant agree so that there's no confusion. But for the exam, let's keep it really, really simple. A trade fixture is a fixture that is removable by the tenant because it's part of their trade or part of their business. Think bookshelf for a bookstore owner, think pizza oven for a pizza shop owner. That's simple. Don't overcomplicate it. And if you need more help, grab our study pack. It has electronic flashcards, audio recordings, video recordings, practice tests, and we're always adding more to it. Keep watching these videos, keep studying, and I promise you, you're gonna do it. Do not give up. Leave your comments, questions, and aha moments below, and I will see you in the next video.